Welcome back to the Flow Friday Sports Show, and it's time to check in now with Caitlin Vine to talk all things Sunraysia Netball, the head Kanga from the Ouyen United Kangas. Caitlin, great to get you back on. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm good. It's been a quick week. We're here already.
We sure are. And of course you're beaming because your girls had a very comfortable win hosting Imperials. Final score 60-27, Caitlin. This was a comprehensive win for your side.
Yeah, this was a fantastic win for our A-grade team. It was a very important game for us. I think it showed that we can play 4 quarters of consistent netball. We made lots of changes throughout the game as well, just working on some different combinations as we get closer to finals. But they seemed to work in our favour. We had some fantastic shooting from Taylor and Esther and Holly, and some amazing defence from our generals at the back, Tashani and Catherine. So a fantastic team effort. Really happy. Imperials, I think they've got 3 of their best players out at the moment. A couple gallivanting overseas and a couple out sick and injured. So it would have been a disappointing loss for them. It was interesting. They had probably one of their best players, Meg McManus, who is a very tall, fit goal defender in the centre for a couple of their quarters, which sort of didn't really work in their favour. I think they wanted it to, and they just couldn't move through the attacking end like they wanted to. So, but we're really happy. We had a fantastic day at the courts all around for our Kangas, and yeah, looking ready for next week.
Now, we'll just take this opportunity to sort of get a club report. So 2 different stories here, Caitlin, when it comes to seniors and juniors. Virtually all the senior sides getting up aside from the C reserves. We had the B grade winning 45-25 and the C grade girls getting up 44-29. Unfortunately, the C reserves, they lost in the end in a very close game. But then we had virtually all the juniors go down, Caitlin, so that's a bit annoying.
Yeah, it is. It's difficult. Obviously really excited for our seniors. The B grade was another really great team game. It was a weird game to play in, very fumbly with the wet weather. And the C grade went from being a tight game to our girls just taking it away. And as you said, the C res losing by 1 goal, that was definitely the game of the day. It was very exciting on the court side, but our juniors unfortunately didn't quite get there. I know a lot of their games were quite close, so only going down by a couple of goals, which is really disappointing for the girls. I know a couple of our teams are just outside the 5 trying to push for finals, but, we live and learn, so, they're developing every week, and that's what we can ask for.
We'll switch our attention back to the senior A grade. Mildura, they hosted Redcliffe, so give us a rundown on what went on here, Caitlin.
Yeah, Mildura comfortably beat Redcliffe 55-31, so no surprises there. Mildura obviously second favourite, and Redcliffe only having 1 or 2 wins, so pretty comfortable there, and that's a good score for us as we look to play Redcliffe next, but yeah.
Irimple travelling over to Wentworth. This would have been an entertaining game.
Yeah, definitely. Irimple still quite strong, but as I mentioned, missing their main level-headed senior player, Cherie. So they would have been disappointed not to have her on the court. 23 goals is a fairly big margin, but no surprises from Wentworth there at all. They just seem to be unstoppable.
Robinvale Euston, they hosted South Mildura, Caitlin.
Yeah, it seems like Robinvale is sort of having a bit of a blitz in the second end of the season. They unfortunately went down 54-48 against South, but that would have been one of their closer margins for the year. They had their first win last week, so it looks like Robinvale are on the up. We certainly can't go into a game against them thinking that we've got it in the bag, that's for sure. So good win for South. That'll keep them in the top 4.
There we go. And we'll switch to looking at the ladder, Caitlin. So just unpack for us how the standings are currently placed in the senior A-grade Sunraysia competition.
Yeah, so it's still fairly tight. Obviously, Wentworth undefeated 12-12 at the top of the ladder, and then Mildura only losing to Wentworth so far. They're sitting 48 to 44, Mildura, and then we are a little further behind on 34 in third place. So still really happy where we are. Only 4 points between us and South in fourth position. So we'll be looking to play South in a week or two's time, and we'll need to make sure that we win that in order to keep that third position. And then looking further down, fifth, we've got Irimple on 22. So a fairly big margin there. 2 games between fourth and fifth, followed by Imperials, Redcliffe, Merbeen and Robinvale on the bottom there. So, still close. Anything could happen in the next few weeks, especially with teams going down with COVID and flus and European holidays. You never know what's going to happen and what a team's going to look like when you come up against them. So, still lots of excitement and surprises to come, I'm sure.
Very unique sort of situation that we have to deal with in Australian amateur and semi-professional sport, isn't it, when everyone just decides to go away during all the winter codes and it kind of hampers everyone's rosters. I don't think they have to deal with that in Europe and other continents, but it's certainly not a pleasant situation, particularly with people on the sidelines with COVID and influenza and God knows what else. Caitlin, we'll get on to looking at the games coming up this weekend. So we've got Imperials hosting Wentworth. This will be a good game for the neutrals.
Yeah, this will be very interesting. As I said before, Imperials just off the mark at the moment. So I think if they've got the same team that they had last week, that Wentworth will do ridiculously well against them. They're just a powerhouse. So Wentworth will get the win there.
Merbeen travelling to Irimple. Who takes the cake here, Caitlin?
This will be interesting because Merbeen has been building and building. They certainly weren't an easy team to play against a few weeks ago, and Irimple weren't either. So I think this will be a really close game, possibly one of the matches of the round, and I think Irimple will just sneak out on top.
The Mildura derby, can I sort of get away with saying that this is going to be the game of the round, Caitlin, just because it's a derby?
This definitely will be the game of the round. This is second versus fourth. As I said before, Wentworth are the only ones to beat Mildura so far. So Mildura will go into this pretty confident, but South Mildura seems to be just chipping away and on the up. So this could be an interesting one. It's a home game for South, so they'll be indoors, which always mixes up the game a little bit. Mildura wouldn't have played in there yet, so could be anyone's game. I will tip Mildura though.
There we go. Now, your girls, they travel to Redcliffs. We know that the Ouyen way at the moment is to take every game one at a time. So you won't be underestimating the opposition going into this one at all, Caitlin, I suspect.
Definitely not. Redcliffs have snuck up behind us before. I know back in 2019 they hadn't won a game and we were undefeated and they just snuck up and beat us. So you can never underestimate any team. And as I said, with teams changing week by week, we don't even know going into a Saturday that our team might be the same as what's been picked on a Thursday. So we'll go in there hoping to have a really good win, hopefully trial a few more combinations again, looking into finals and just crack on. I know Redcliffe are a bit of a happy medium between all of their teams. I know some of their juniors are quite strong, so we'll be hoping to push hard in all the way from 11s up to A grade and hopefully come home with a few more wins.
And just switching our attention back to internal matters, have you got any storylines or any narratives or anything going on between the various senior and junior grades for people to look out for this weekend, Caitlin?
We've got lots happening. Lots of our juniors doing fantastic things and moving up in the netball world. We had Maggie Smith, one of our young guns. She would be well and truly taller than me. She'll be over 6 foot by the time she's finished growing. She's just been down to Melbourne on Sunday for some of the state championships, which I think they ended up coming 5th overall, the Sunraysia team, which is fantastic. So if you're watching some of the junior grades, be sure to check out Maggie. I think she's in some of the 13 teams and the 15 teams. Lots of other ones to look out for. We've got Ella Hastings in B grade, who's just improving out of sight week by week. Her drives onto the ring are sensational. So if you get to see B grade, check out Ella. And in the A grade, again, Alan Morris. You'll never see a drive the way that she does. She's just a powerhouse on the court. So a bit of a wing attack week this week. I think if you can have a look at some of those fantastic fit players doing their thing, certainly check them out. And yeah, that's about it at the moment. We're just sort of chipping away. Nothing's too crazy happening, but yeah, we're just hoping for the best week by week.
Good on you, Caitlin Vine, the head Kanga from Ouyen United, lifting the lid on all things Sunraysia Netball for us. Caitlin, we wish you and the club all the very best going into your games this weekend. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll speak to you next week.
Thank you so much. Go Kangas.